He had infinite stam, he had speed, he had walls, he had aimbot, he had teleport, he had fly.
Yeah.
So he's just like,
Fly. It's just
oh, it was funny. He was like looking at someone through the walls. He was on customs and he like ran over to dorms and he teleported from the outside inside, but he was half in the ground, like right in
Mhm.
front of them, like at their feet, like looking up at him. And he's like, pop, pop. And he shoots them like twice. And they look at him and they're like, you hear him VoIP. They're like, oh come on, man. And it's like, yeah, you're dead. Like, welcome back to Chicken Attack,
Wow.
episode 10.
Welcome back to Chicken Attack episode 10, the big 1-0. Been a
The
week.
big one, 0.
It's been a week, but I want to okay, before we jump into Tarkov because we both been playing it, I want to talk about something. And it kind of dawned on me today. And it made me think of kind of a clucking question, but not. Because I want to talk about
Okay.
what trend in video games that's very common right now. There's a TikTok going around and it's like, what's the biggest scam that we don't realize we're like, it's so normal that we don't even realize it's a scam anymore. Mine is the fucking battle pass in video games. Where have we gone in gaming where now we're paying money to get something to grind, right? It's like imagine playing World of Warcraft and now you have to pay money to grind for whatever item it is that you need for a quest. You know what I'm
That
saying?
would be like absolutely horrific.
But that's technically what a battle pass is, right?
Well,
You're
not really, because like a
battle pass
battle
is the
pass
biggest
is
scam.
the battle
Biggest
pass
scam.
is like primarily gonna be cosmetics and
But
maybe
here's the thing.
some other bonuses like that. But
Cosmetics can also be, I mean, if in current video games, there has been many cosmetic like
yeah, but
things that have
okay,
been at
that
an
is
advantage. But
that's
we're pretty much paying money to for a thing in the game that makes it replayable.
um well, okay, every game
We're
that has
paying
a
for
battle pass,
replay
that's
value.
kind of unfair a little bit because every game that has a battle pass is going to be like a live service game receiving updates. It's going to have something that requires maintenance. And requiring that maintenance means that you're going to have to employ people to maintain it, which means you're going to have to pay them. So,
But that's
like,
just it. There's like look at fucking Halo. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying?
yeah.
Halo has done the same fucking thing without a battle pass. Now it has a battle pass. What do you mean about
Wait, Halo's had a
having
battle
to
pass since
employ the
day
people?
one. It's had a battle
Huh?
pass since day one.
Right, but the past battle passes, right? Or the
Yes.
past Halos, right? So you're talking about they need to employ people to take care of those services.
Yes.
It's already been like that in the past. They already had those people to take care of the server maintenance.
Um, Halo 3, actually, those were all on. You paid for Xbox Live.
Right? But you still pay for Xbox Live nowadays.
Yeah, but Xbox Live has changed their business model a little bit as well. So they're just shifting the numbers around a bit.
I
I mean,
guess.
it makes sense from a business perspective. I'm not gonna say that it's a scam. Because I mean, if you like the game, I have no problem tossing $10 every
Right.
3 months
I don't
at it.
either, but I still find it as like look, I'll buy a battle pass. If I like the game, right, and I know that I'm going to be playing it a lot, I'll buy the battle pass. But if the way I was looking at it today, well, I was just like, man, I paid for a battle pass for Halo. I don't
Mm-hmm.
even play Halo anymore.
Yep.
So what was the point of that?
I mean, you
You know?
like
I
I
just
can
felt like
assume that you got your money's worth out of that battle pass though, right?
no.
What level
No, I
did you get
didn't.
the battle pass to?
I think I got my battle pass to like 25 or 26
What were you doing?
playing ranked.
Yeah, I
And
maxed that shit out in like a month.
yeah, well, that's just it. And back when you were you didn't I only played ranked. So back when I was playing it, you couldn't get points for ranked. That's how it was.
You got points towards the battle
Nope.
pass for ranked. You didn't
Nope.
get
It was only in quick play. It was not in ranked.
no, you
They had to update it so that you can get a
no, the
um
battle pass actually you only got if I remember correct, you only got points for
nope,
the achievements for like the
the
challenges.
challenges. Right. You only
They
got it for the
updated
challenges.
it, yes, which they did have ranked challenges, and that's
They
what
didn't.
people were. Yeah, they did.
Not at the beginning. They didn't.
100% they did because people were pissed off that they were forcing you into a game type that people didn't want to play, because if people didn't want to play ranked, but the only way that they could grind out experience for their battle pass was to complete the challenges, and the
If
challenges said complete 5 ranked games. They're like, I have no interest in
then that
ranked.
wasn't at the
Why?
beginning.
It was.
Then it was bugged or something because if it had experience for challenges for ranked, I would be a higher level than I was because
No, they
I only played
100%
ranked
did.
and I only played ranked. I never played quick play. And the only time I played quick play was during the fractured Tenerai event to get
Uh-huh.
that armor. That's the only time I ever played quick play, and that was the only time I leveled up in the battle pass.
Yeah, it did have ranked challenges. The game launched like what was it, November 15th or something was the surprise release. And it said there's a Reddit post right here a month later on December 19th saying ranked challenges definitely need to go. You should never force someone to play a game type that they don't want to, especially ranked.
Well, then if that's the case, then they should have added playlists at the very beginning. Because
They
at the
did.
beginning
They
it was
just
like
didn't have a
they
lot. They had
they
quick
had
play and
ranked.
ranked.
I know,
Yeah.
but you couldn't choose the game mode.
No. No, that
So
yep. It was just
technically that
grab
doesn't
bag
matter.
in quick play or ranked.
Yeah. So
Yep.
like it really doesn't
No,
matter.
that was a lot of the criticism. I mean, I was working at 343 during that time, and people were they were up in arms about the fact that you were being forced to play shit that you didn't want to play, and then quick play lobbies and ranked lobbies were getting completely screwed because the people that didn't want to play ranked, but they had a kill someone with X gun in ranked would only they would drop the ranked game if they got a play type that didn't have that weapon that they needed in it. So then they don't care about the hit. They don't care about the timeout. They'll just come back in a half hour and queue again and see
See,
if they have it.
this is what I don't understand because I didn't hear anything about this. The only time that I knew that people were pissed off is the fact that there wasn't a ranked Slayer playlist, right? There wasn't just that, and there wasn't what the fuck is it called? Oh, if you played on controller on a PC, if you
Mhm.
moved your mouse or clicked or hit your like spacebar or enter anything on your keyboard, it took away all aim assist on controller.
Yeah, it
Those are
did.
the only issues I have ever heard. I
Yep.
as for ranked as for ranked challenges, I don't remember them ever having. I mean, you can if you saw them, that's good on you. I'm telling you, I played the game specifically just ranked. That's it. And I didn't level up until they started doing that thing or they did that update where they're like, okay, you played a match, now you get 50
Yep.
experience or whatever.
That was like a week after release when they put that in because people were
Right.
complaining about that too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean there was so many there were so many complaints. It was
They probably started a complaint compartment.
no, actually it was kind of the opposite. We were told
Oh
not
no.
to engage with any of the Reddit audience. Like
The
just
Reddit audience?
yeah.
Okay, first of all,
That
first
unless
of all,
unless you are in a like community outreach role, they didn't want you to talk on Reddit in any capacity.
yeah, okay. Well, that's just it. You shouldn't be on Reddit in general, right? If you're in the gaming sphere, don't go on Reddit,
Dude,
right?
Don't bash Reddit. Reddit's like such a
I love
awesome
Reddit. I
place to
love it.
be.
But I'm just saying, all trouble in the gaming industry starts on Reddit.
Oh, just kick all the trolls in the face.
That's what
Like
I'm saying.
you literally just have to like you have to like imagine Reddit being let's say zombie apocalypse, right? Imagine
Right.
Reddit being like ground zero for the apocalypse. Like you gotta go with armor, with like baseball bats, and just whacking all the trolls until
Yup.
you find the survivors, and you're like, oh, those guys, those ones, they want to talk, they need my help,
Right,
let's
but you
go
gotta be
find
careful
them.
because sometimes the survivors are actual trolls, but they're disguised. It's kind of sick.
Oh, you mean kind of like Tarkov?
I mean, a little bit. Speaking of
Oh
Tarkov,
man.
did you hear that the Marauders beta got announced?
Oh
It's
really?
coming. Yeah, Marauders is coming. The closed beta is July 20th to the 25th. So if you're looking for a crew to man your ship, I'm right here, man. I can be a gunner. We can go boarding parties. I mean, I'm right here. Anyone else chat? Anyone else in the comments? Or if you guys are seeing this,
This
July 20th to the 25th. You guys need a crew for Marauders.
well, yeah, but how do you get into it?
You can buy it, or you can apply for like buy the game and you get access to it, or you can, I believe, you can apply for it and then they can give you access. But chances are those are slim. Probably gonna be paid for.
This game
To go back
just
on what two episodes ago when we talked about having to buy your way into video games or
yeah.
into betas and alphas.
Yeah, it's community development. Like it's community
So
funded development.
so in layman's terms, that means buy your way into it by purchasing the game.
I mean, I there's a lot of shit out here that wouldn't have been able to be done if it wasn't for these early early access games, crowdfunded games, things like that. So I
I
mean, it
mean,
has its place, but for
I'm
sure we need
surprised.
to do better as like developers on
Well, crowdfunded
conveying
games,
the ad
crowdfunded
information.
games are there's a lot of good crowdfunded games, I will say. I've been watching people play Star Citizen. For how much money that game raised, it looks like shit. It
It
looks
looks
boring.
beautiful,
Well,
but
yeah, it looks
it
like what I
yeah,
meant by it looks like shit is like it doesn't look like there's anything to do really.
it the
But
problem is
apparently there's a lot.
there's so much to do and so much freedom. You can do whatever the fuck you
Oh,
want to do that it
it's one
looks
of
like there's
those.
nothing to do because there's no direction to it.
I guess. So yeah, it's kind of like I don't know. You can't say Elden Ring effect because Elden Ring, you always
No,
had
no,
a
yeah.
direct. You had a direction. You just chose not to go. Right.
This game is literally like, hey, here you are, do what you want. And
Okay.
you can fumble over finding a ship and go in like raiding a asteroid, and then you're like, what do I do with all this shit? So you go and take it back and you try to find a vendor to sell it to, but then you're like, you stumble upon the game system that lets you be a vendor, so then you stand up your own shop and you wait for people to come and buy shit from you.
Y-
And it yeah,
The
you
one
could
thing, the one thing I would want to be, and I think everyone wants to be, is a bounty hunter. I
but
feel,
do
I feel
they
like everyone would want to be a
but do
bounty
they
hunter.
I mean,
I mean, that's one way to make a lot of money
there's already
is
you could
bounty
do
hunting.
that in Star Citizen, but
Yeah.
there's already a game that lets you do that, and it's called Hitman.
What?
Hitman, you're a hitman. You're a bounty hunter. You're
Right, but you're not going after like live players.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Yeah. Where you're like, oh, this person is, owes this guy a fuck ton of money. I better go bring him back,
Yeah, that would be interesting.
Yeah,
What if
that's
they
how you
did?
do it,
What if
man.
they did like a bounty system in Tarkov?
I mean, there kind of is.
Well, how so?
There's a lot of challenges that are like kill so and so PMCs,
No,
right?
okay, so that okay, I see what you're saying, but I'm talking
Or
like if you do really good, like let's say you're on like a 10, 15 raid survive streak. Like
okay,
if when you get into a match that has that person in there, if a little message from Fence pops up and is like, "Yo, there's someone here who's been fucking with my guys. Go find them and bring me their dog tag."
here is how this would work. All right, from a person that's never worked in the gaming sphere other than being a live streamer, but as you guys know on this podcast, I always bring up a lot of interesting mechanics in video games. Um, the bounty system would have to work like this. If there was a bounty system, you load into a map, right, and it's just like it gets all the players in there, but now there's a tab in your like you hit tab or whatever your little inventory thing is. There's another tab that says your bounty, right? And that's another player in the map. Now you have to go and find that person and you will get experience or like
Yeah,
rep
that's what I was
or
saying.
experience. Okay. But it wouldn't be like, oh, there's a guy. It would be way too
No,
hard to have it be like, okay, go find Pastilli, and now you have to like
yeah, no, no, no,
try to
no. I'm
queue
saying
up
like
with him,
if
you know what I'm
he,
saying?
no, I'm saying if you into a game with someone
Mm.
that has a bounty on their head, you get the little message pop up at the bottom from like Fence that says, "Yo, there's someone nearby that's been screwing with my people." And then you know that you're in a match with someone who's on a crazy win streak. So then you're on edge even more because you're like,
Right.
"Oh, there's a super Chad here somewhere."
Well,
So
here's the thing though. How would it just be like everyone has a bounty, or would they be like
no, you'd have
everyone
to hit like a
has the
threshold.
one, or would it be like, okay, you go and you pay Fence for a bounty? Like you pay Fence for a contract, right? And in that contract, you bring it into raid. That way, it takes slots away, right? And you have to get out with said contract after killing the person. And you go in, you get your contract, or you have your contract, you kill the person, and then you have to take it out, and then you have to give it back to Fence.
But what would the purpose be of taking that contract, that object into the game? Like you don't want to have a player carry something just to carry something for the sake of carrying something. You want
Right.
it to be purposeful. So
Right.
if that contract sat in your like
Well,
task
you'd have to.
storage and if
Right.
you died it went away, that
Oh, there
might
we
be
go.
useful. But
Yeah.
if it's
But you.
taking up space, it needs to have a purpose.
Okay. Here's the other thing. You take the contract. Well, whether it is a storage or in your inventory, but to submit it, you have to have their dog tags. That way, you don't
Yeah.
just like kill them from afar, right? And be
Yeah,
like, oh,
yeah,
well,
that
there you
yeah,
go. I'm just gonna
you
snipe my contract. You have
yeah,
to
so
have the dog tag, and you have to submit the contract with the dog tags.
yeah, so you have it would be like an optional it'd be like an optional like challenge task to where you buy a contract like a bounty contract, and then when you get into a raid that has someone who's doing well, who's on a survive streak, who's been kicking ass all day, that's when Fence gives you a notification that says, "Yo, you bought this contract from me. I'm letting you know now that there's someone nearby you. Go find them." Like you buy into his little world to where he's like, "Oh, you're working for me. I'll let you know when someone's near you." And then they let you know, and then you're like, "Okay, this raid is no longer going to be about me trying to do my tasks. This is going to be me trying to find the Uber Chad that's somewhere on this map."
Right, but here, is there a little warning for the super Chad that lets him know that he has a contract out for him?
It would be after you hit like the threshold, like 10 survives in a row or something, that they go, you're now marked for you're now a target. You're now a person of interest in Fence's operation or something
I
like
find
that.
I feel like it would be a lot better if the Chad didn't know.
Well, I mean, they're gonna know at some point. So there, it's
Oh,
people are
right,
gonna
but
know like, oh, this is how the system works. So in order to have it mean something from that side of the player base, um, you got to work it into the lore somehow. And
right,
the way that I'm spitballing this in my head right now is, so Fence's whole thing is he's the liaison between the PMCs and the scavs. And
yeah,
if this Chad is just busting through his scavs, raiding all of their caches, like just getting away with all this loot, he's gonna be
right,
like, "Yo, guys, like I hired you. You're working for me, Mr. PMC. Like this dude over here, I want you to go take him out for me because he's bad for business." And
right.
then they get notified like some radio operator, kind of like what they've been doing with the whole lore stuff, to where it's like, you're now like a target of Fence's
I mean, that would
op.
have to be through an intel. That would have to be like through intel of your hideout.
Yeah.
Maybe
Yes,
at like
yeah, there you go.
Intel 2 or Intel 3.
It, or a combination of intel and security.
Yeah, security would be good too. You know why they had security?
They were originally, the idea was that you were going to be able to raid other people's
Yep.
hideouts when they went open world.
Yep.
I don't know if that's still on the table, but I also did have another idea
Open
for
worlds.
security. Oh, the open world is, yeah. I don't know
Yeah.
about the raiding people's hideouts, but I had an idea for like security or intel level 3 when you get like the security cameras and stuff,
Right.
to have a like kill cam, but have the kill
Health
cam
cam.
only viewable after the raid is done. And you have to have like intel or something high enough to where there's security cameras placed all around the Tarkov region, and at like intel level 3 or whatever, you get limited access to that system to be able
Mhm.
to review footage of past raids. So you
Mm.
can like look it up and be like, oh, okay, this one was a little sus, let me take a look at that. Or I have no idea where I got killed. Let me review that footage and see, like it wouldn't give away any locations. Like you wouldn't be able to stream snipe someone from it. Like even if
Right.
you were a team, because it wouldn't be immediate, but it would help alleviate some of that frustration of, oh, is this guy using like a stupid cheese spot? Was this guy hacking? Like that kind of thing. And it would work into the lore. It would
Yeah.
I think it would be a fun thing. And then have it to where, in order to use that function, it's a money dump. So
A money
500,
dump?
so like 200K to review the footage or something like that.
I think it would have to use you have to have your generator on to use it, obviously.
Generator on to record the video, and then you would have to like
Right.
pay someone to like maybe recover the video or something, like, because there's not there's a lot to gain wealth, but not a lot
Yeah.
of money dump. So
You know
like
what'd be here's
the
a
econ
cool
goes crazy.
concept that you made me think of with that, right? So obviously, um once the raid is completely done, scavs are done, then you get options to go and view the footage, right?
Yeah.
If you suspect someone of cheating, you can see it, right? But you reporting it is just one equation. Now the community can go and view that footage. Like if you mark someone as cheating, right? Now it's a community thing to kind of patrol themselves and be like, okay, similar to
Yep.
how Counter Strike does it,
Yeah.
where where Counter-Strike or the players in Counter-Strike can review footage and be like, "Oh, yes, he was cheating." That way we can kind of monitor ourselves. And if you do that, maybe you can get rep through that as
Yeah.
well.
No, I think that would be really cool. That's a really good idea because like
Yeah,
I had this conversation with someone I think it was on Reddit over the weekend,
right.
but they're like having community report having your cheater like your hacker reports and stuff and people being banned rely on community reports is just a bad idea.
It is.
But well, in all
100%.
reality, there's no other way to do it. Like
Right.
because when no matter what you do as a developer, you're always going to be 1, 2 steps behind the people developing cheats. So the
Right.
only way you're ever going to know that something is beating your safeguards or something is being exploited is by people reporting it. And
Right.
then you can go and review the footage and then you can develop tools to find that.
Well,
So the entire thing hinges on community reports. So to say that
yeah.
that is a bad idea or it's not good to have it handled that way is just not understanding the
Well, you
problem.
got to look at it. You got to look at it from a different standpoint. Also, I mean, you got your developers, right, who already are stretched thin as far as resources. And how many people they have? Like 100, like 120 people at Battle State Games, and
That's
there's
max.
like,
That's across the
right,
entire company.
right, and there's how many people with Battle Eye? Not very much. You give the
Wait, what do you mean?
community. Battle Eye is the anti cheat, right?
Yeah, but what do you mean
Right.
there's not that much people with it?
So there's not, like, if you submit the report, right? Someone has to use like go and like look like, oh, is that person cheating, right? Because
Um
how do you report someone and then someone be like, oh yeah, they're banned, that they
yeah,
were cheating, or you have to
yeah,
have someone that reviews it, right?
yes and no. There's different ways of doing it. So there's in the industry there's manual reviews, there's automated reviews, there's heuristic reviews. There's all kinds of different ways to do it. But
Okay.
if someone's getting reported 50 reports an hour, there's a good chance that they're hacking.
Right.
They're cheating.
Right. Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
could just have the system automatically ban that guy.
Right.
If someone's getting reported twice a day, you're going to want to take a look, someone to actually review that manually. It all comes down to risk tolerance, but you can
But,
also have the system look heuristically across everything that it sees, kind of like machine learning. So
right.
it'll be like, oh, this is happening on these computers. This is the people that are getting reported. So when we see that type of behavior, there's a high chance that they're cheating. So go ahead and learn from that and go ahead. God, this light coming through my
I
window
know.
is bugging me.
I
But
know. Getting you in either eye.
yeah,
But no, to touch on what I was getting at is that you have, yeah, you have machine learning and stuff like that, but you have a lot more people in the community, right, that will work to, if they feel like they're getting something out of it, not just banning the hackers and cheaters and stuff like that, but you give them something for their effort, like give them a reason to review that footage and stuff like that, because the person may not be cheating. They could have just found an exploit in the game where they're just hiding under a rock, like, back in
I see what you're saying.
yeah, there was a thing on customs where there was a bush but it was next to a rock, and if you can't speak. If you crawled through the bush, you can actually like get into the rock a little bit, and then you can shoot up towards Welcome to Tarkov truck. And it's not really cheating. It's just exploiting a dynamic in the game that someone just found. Right? It's not like anyone can do it. Right? It's not a cheat.
Apparently,
Or walls that you can jump into on
yep,
interchange,
yeah,
stuff like that.
apparently, the cycle uses battle eye.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I see what you're saying. Like you would utilize the community to augment
Right.
manual reviews, which I could get behind that. But
Right.
So this weekend, I took like an extended weekend and didn't play anything. Was out at the lake, but
Yeah.
Thursday night before we left, we were playing some Tarkov, and it was late. I'm like, I got like a 3.5 hour drive the next day. Like, I want to go to bed. And
Right.
Jamie's like, let's play one more raid. Let's just go get this done real
Oh
quick.
no.
Go to interchange. We'll make it. It's like midnight. Jesus, cat. So there wasn't too many people playing already, and I'm like, okay, fine, whatever. We'll make it quick. We get
Right.
we get into the raid, and we get Jamie and I got decimated by this guy. Didn't even see him. And then our third saw the guy as he was shooting Jamie and immediately 180'd and one tapped him in the head. And he's like, "Did you guys see that?" And we're like, "Yeah." And I looked at my screen and the guy had a TV, something. It was like Vibin Sun TV, and I'm like, all right, let's go see if this guy's got a fake Twitch or not. He was actually streaming.
He was streaming his hacks.
He was streaming his cheats, and I'm
Wow.
like, yo, bro, you got your wall hacks turned on still? And he's like, really? I got my cheats turned on? And it's like, okay, now I know what he's doing. He was literally just going around wiping lobbies, not looting anything, promoting his hacks. He was just like linking the Discord and like telling people what the name of the hack was. And we sat here and just watched him for an hour and a half.
I mean, it worked. You guys went to his Twitch, so
I
mean,
was
you
like,
got him
is
an
this guy
audience.
serious? Like, he only had like 4 viewers, but I'm like, how long is it gonna take? And he got banned. He got banned live on stream. I was recording it too, so I got the video of it. But he said he was playing on that account for about 10 hours before he got banned.
Yeah. I mean,
Which I mean,
people.
honestly, like 10 hours, that's pretty quick turnaround.
Yeah.
Like that's not that. I would like to see it be like, oh shit, you're doing stuff that you can't do in the normal game, auto ban. But 10 hours is reasonable.
We got cheated on twice. So I played a game early in the morning, probably last Wednesday, I believe, and I played Woods because Woods is my favorite map, right? So I'm coming up from ZB14 and I'm heading towards USAC camp. And I see one dude, so I shoot him in the head, and all of a sudden his buddy turns around, right? And I'm like behind a tree, and I peek out. I just see his little character just jump up in the air, and then just I'm head iced immediately. He got me with a Mosin.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
One tap. I was telling my buddy about this. Later on that night. We played a raid. And as I was telling him this story, we were playing customs. And I'm like, are you seeing this? And he looks up and he sees the guy just running across land bridge, but above land bridge.
Yep.
And he's like, what the fuck? So he starts shooting at us, but he doesn't have like aim hacks, right? He's just up in the air. So my friend starts just like spraying him down, ends up killing him, but his body disappeared, so you couldn't find his loot. Yeah. So, but it was funny because as I was telling him that I got hacked on, that we ran into another hacker.
Yeah, it's ridiculous the stuff that they got going on. Like he had infinite stam, he had speed, he had walls, he had aimbot, he had teleport, he had fly.
Yeah.
So he's just like, oh, it was funny. He was like looking at someone through the walls. He was on customs and he like ran over to dorms and he teleported from the outside inside, but he was half in the ground, like right in front of them, like at their feet, like looking up at him. And he's like, pop, pop. And he shoots him like twice. And they look at him and they're like, you hear him VoIP. They're like, oh come on, man. And it's like, yeah, you're dead. Like,
So speaking of VoIP, we're gonna move over to another. So Battlefield 3, right?
Okay.
Everyone's favorite one of well, other than Bad Company 2, Battlefield 3 is known as one of the greatest battlefields of all time. Agree?
I admittedly only played 2.
Okay. Well, Battlefield 3 Remastered Mod comes out in 4 days.
Okay.
In this mod, not only does it have VoIP, it has a bunch of UI and gameplay, which is completely reworked gameplay and UI aimed for more tactical team play compared to the original Battlefield. It's on the Frostbite engine, the immersive atmospheric visuals Frostbite engine destruction. So there's more destruction in the game. 100+ player battles on a server.
Okay.
Multiple in-game radio. It has VoIP, like it has, in-game radio channels and stuff like that. New textures, models, maps, and such. And then it has dynamic, like dynamic weather and environment.
Okay.
Yeah, that's just a little bit. That's 6 of the many that it has. This comes out in 4 days, and I'm looking. It'll be in the link dump. I'll send it to you real quick.
Okay.
In backstage chat. But yeah, it is. I am excited because I loved Battlefield 3, and looking at, like, if you watch the trailer, it's a group of guys doing this mod, and I know we talked about it maybe last episode. We talked about how mods are just getting ridiculous. This is the one that I was thinking of that I couldn't remember in that episode is this mod, and I finally found it again. Yeah,
That'll be interesting. I wonder how much of the the Battlefield community is eager for a playable Battlefield right now.
What do you mean? What do you mean? Those poor 100 players in 42.
Okay. You want to hear something? You want to hear something?
Oh no.
Or horrific? Like, this is an
The metrics?
absolute awful statistic.
Oh
So
no.
back when Battlefield came out, I think it had like 2,000 players, like concurrent players or something like that. Hold on. Steam charts. Let's see. Yeah, it had like 2,000 and some players. It was like stupid low. And right now I just saw I can't type and talk apparently at the same time. My brain doesn't work like that. But I just saw that. Yeah, it was so hot over in Chelan. Oh my god.
I'm jealous.
So Battlefield right now currently has 4,500 players. In the past 30 days it's up 250%. 250%. So that means last month it was at under 1,000? No,
1,000 players? No.
100% would be 100% increase.
Let's do the
would
math.
be 200. Yeah, it would be about 1,200 people a month ago is what it would have been, give or take.
Then what came out that made people come back to it?
I don't know, but that's interesting.
Was there like an update?
Yeah, no, it actually does say in the last 30 days 250. In May it was at 1,900 players.
Why?
I don't know. But
no, why did people come back?
That's
what I want to
know.
Was there an update?
Possibly, maybe. I don't know.
Possibly, yeah.
But okay, so here's the number I was looking for. So in December, right after it launched, like a month after it launched, it dropped from 50K concurrent to, or this was the average, sorry, 50K average to 20K average a day. December to January, the same time frame, it dropped from 20K to 7K. That is a huge tank. That's like a negative 1,200%, or sorry, 12,000%. And
The developers are probably just sitting there,
yeah,
just like, what did we do wrong?
okay.
You know what I'm
So,
saying? It's
so
like,
I just painted this picture that everybody hates this fucking game. I just read an article that says Halo Infinite's concurrent player base dropped below that of Battlefield 2042.
yeah, yeah. It-
Yeah.
but here's the thing. Look at the metrics for Halo Infinite
Mm-hmm.
around that time. Now go and compare that to the metrics for Master Chief Collection. The Master Chief Collection is getting so much more in its updates. It's it's not even live updates for Halo Master Chief Collection. There's not live updates. Halo Infinite has live updates, and Halo Master Chief Collection is getting way more in its in this
So
way
yeah,
more.
in December to January, it dropped 1,700% Master Chief Collection.
Right.
And then in April of this year, after they announced that Forge and co-op and everything were being pushed back again, Master Chief Collection went up 2,000%.
That's what I'm saying. It's nuts.
Yeah,
But isn't Master Chief Collection known as one of the biggest failures in Halo history
it
because of how
was.
shitty launch was?
Yeah, it was, and then it came back and came full
God, man,
circle. But yeah,
dude, it did the No Man's Sky effect.
yeah. But right now,
God, I want to play Halo so fucking
Steam
bad.
Halo Infinite on Steam is sitting at about 4,000 average daily players.
I want to play Halo so bad, but I don't want to hook up a console to play it.
But just play it on Master Chief Collection.
Okay, wait, the Master Chief Collection you can play on PC, correct?
Yeah,
But is it crispy? Like, is it a good port
yeah,
to
yeah,
PC?
yeah.
Okay. Maybe we'll jump back into it. I am thinking about getting back into streaming.
That's
I already set up like all of my scenes and stuff like that
yeah.
to go back in streaming. So maybe that'll be one of the games that I go back
Yeah, I
to is Halo.
replayed all of them on before Infinite came out on PC, and we were playing. My buddies and I we were playing a lot of Halo 4 multiplayer.
Oh,
We were playing SWAT.
okay. Well, I mean, SWAT is SWAT, but
Well, okay,
Halo
trying to
4?
play yes,
Question
because
mark?
trying to play 3 or Reach multiplayer now is just fucking atrocious. Like it's so hard to
I
play
love.
those games. They're good, they're great,
I am.
but holding it up
Hate
to
Reach.
current multiplayer standards, it was just
I know.
so difficult.
Well,
Um
right, because you immediately in 3 you immediately notice the lack of aim assist
lack of aim
immediately.
assist, lack of sprint. The your movement speed feels like you're jogging
Heavy.
through molasses.
Yeah, you're
Like
very heavy.
like the jumps are extremely floaty. Like going from 4, like playing SWAT, we only played SWAT on 4,
Okay.
to where it's the controls are so tight, they're so refined. The jumps are they're floaty for a shooter, but I mean it's not like you're not like just going like woo, like it's not like you're on the moon. Whereas when you play 3 or Reach, you if you jump, you're dead. Like
Right.
you're just in the air. It's just like you're a floating target. Like you can't do anything. You're just
Well,
getting
in
faced.
yeah, in SWAT obviously, but in normal like competitive play, jumping is actually the way to maneuver your way out of being killed. So, like for example, you would do your normal strafe, right? But then to throw them off, you could either jump, right, or crouch.
Yeah,
A lot of people found that by crouching, you are at a huge disadvantage when you shoot because you have to aim up to get a headshot, right? While if you jump, you can literally keep your crosshair dead center and you'd still be able to hit the headshot. So a lot more players in 3 would jump. Now in like Halo Infinite, they found that crouching is actually more beneficial than jumping, which a lot of the old time Halo players that are like in the competitive scene had a hard time adjusting to that because in 3 in Halo 2, 3 in Reach, jumping was the biggest advantage. So everyone got used to it. That's why bumper jumper became a huge thing.
Yep.
That's why back pads became a huge thing, not just because of Call of Duty, and drop shotting and stuff like that, but jumping for back pedals or back paddles was huge because of
Yeah,
Halo.
it
And
makes
in
sense when you
Infinite,
think about it. Like
yeah,
you jump, so it's like when you have the shields and everything like that, every bullet counts.
right. But
Whereas
in Halo Infinite, it puts you at a severe disadvantage.
Mhm.
So everyone, it was just too hard to adjust to the norm of, because when you played that way for so long, you got muscle memory, and you're just like, okay, I'm gonna out BR this person, and they would jump and lose, even though they started the gunfight. And you're just like, how the fuck did that happen? It's because in Halo Infinite, there was such a disadvantage to jumping because of how floaty you are, and because your body, like, I don't know what it was, but your hitbox got bigger, I guess.
Okay.
So it made you easier to hit in Infinite. This
If
is
you
what I
jump,
learned. This is what, yeah, your hitbox got bigger
um,
rather than smaller.
yeah.
Because your body, because when you're jumping in
Well, it probably also has to do with the aim assist, to where
but there's
on the older titles, the aim assist. Well, you were kind of just describing it by saying if you crouch, you need to aim up,
right,
and that's because the way the aim assist worked is it would take what's in the center of your screen and help assist to keep that on target. But if you crouch, the center of your screen is now like between someone's legs. So then
right,
you have to aim up to stay not on their hitbox. Where if you jump, your crosshair goes from like center mass to like their head. So it's
right.
still trying to keep that on
I get it.
still trying to keep it
Uh,
on target. Whereas in Infinite, it's it's kind of took that the other way around, to where the
right,
aim assist, they tweaked it quite a bit to where it will stay not necessarily pointed at the hitbox, but where
mm-hmm,
a player is. So if
yeah,
you're looking towards a player, it's gonna glue your crosshair in that direction, whether or not you're jumping or crouching. So
right.
that's why jump or crouching now is the better play.
Well, and like, it's still viable to crouch to kind of throw off the enemy's aim, but when you have 3 shots into someone, usually it's 3 body. You need 3 body and 1 head, right? So
Mm-hmm.
in the competitive scene, I say competitive scene because it's, usually in casual play, people are either only aiming at the head or they're only aiming at the body. But in higher level gameplay, the players will often aim for the chest and then the final shot aim for the head because it makes more sense because you're doing, yes, you do more damage like to the shields when you're shooting at the head, but you have a higher grade of greater chance to um what's it called? I'm drawing a blank. You have a higher grade of chance of missing, right?
Okay.
That's the risk that you have to take just for a little tiny bit of like
Yeah.
it's so small of extra damage that it's not really noticeable. That if you were just to shoot him in the chest and then in the head, the TTK would actually be faster.
Okay.
So um a lot of higher like game like in like game battles and stuff like that, those players will often aim for the chest and then for the head. They won't just aim for the head.
Interesting.
Right. Which is what also it makes games like Tarkov harder, because in Tarkov you want to aim for the head. right? Aiming for center mass doesn't make sense because they have armor, right? Like if
Yeah.
it doesn't matter if they're like super geared or not very geared, right? You're still doing damage to armor rather than the head. So
Mhm.
those players that play, casual in games like Halo where they're only aiming at the head, they probably will be a lot better at Tarkov than they would be at vice
Well, I
versa.
mean, if you play Halo on a keyboard and mouse, because if you try to play Tarkov
What do you
with a
mean?
controller, you're gonna get smoked.
What do you mean? I played Tarkov with a controller.
Do you?
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
got my controller right here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't play Tarkov with that. Actually,
I'm.
I
It's so
know that
funny.
there are people that have set that up.
I I I think it's funny that there's people that ask the question all the time, like, "Is this game coming for consoles?" You're just like, I don't understand how that's gonna work. You're gonna have like 3 controllers plugged in just for just to move your character."
Like, yeah, yeah, it's gonna come out for console and it's gonna say requires the 2002 Steel Battalion Xbox controller to play.
No,
Like,
yeah,
do you
yeah.
remember that controller?
Is that the one that came for Metalcore or something like that? Where it was
The game was called Steel Battalion, and yeah,
Steel Battalion. Yeah, yeah,
it was
yeah,
a mech assault game.
yeah. Yep.
To where I
I was
was
thinking
just listening
Metalcore. I
to
don't know why.
I was just listening to a podcast, and they brought it up and they were talking about it, and I totally forgot about the feature that it had in it, but it had permadeath in it. That on the controller there was a like toggle switch for your eject button. If you didn't eject before your mech blew up, it would delete your saved game.
Sick.
It would make you restart.
Sick.
But like the controller itself, the game was a $60 game, it was a full price
Right.
game. But then the controller, if you wanted the authentic experience, was like $270 for the controller.
I mean, that's nothing. I mean, that's Guitar Hero, right?
Oh
Like,
god.
Guitar Hero was that much. So back then, I mean, $270 is nothing for
If you wanted the
rig. But I
if you
mean,
wanted the
look at
really nice DDR dance mats, like
yeah. Yeah, but I mean, look at the racing rigs nowadays. People
uh,
are spending like 5 to 10 grand on racing rigs.
my
So
buddy,
imagine a one for first person shooting game like Tarkov.
that would be like, what would that even look like? It would just, that'd be so
I mean,
weird.
technically it would just be one of those like floors that you can run on,
Oh,
and then
like the
it comes with a gun, right? And then a VR. I mean, pretty much
yeah.
would be it.
Have you seen? I'm sure you have.
Oh no, I probably haven't.
Um they use them for like police training and stuff. It's the laser rounds.
Yes. Yeah.
Like, could you imagine like Tarkov in like a warehouse, like an empty Costco? Like you dump
So
like 2 teams of 5 in there.
so you can actually I back when I had my AR-15,
Mhm.
um they I went to a gun show and they were selling, I don't know who makes these magazines, but they're like red. And it's just a magazine that goes into your normal, like just a normal magazine, right?
Okay.
But it goes into any type of receiver. And when you pull the trigger, it shoots a laser out the
Okay.
barrel.
Yeah,
And they're marketing it towards laser tag in training facilities.
I'd be so for that. That'd be so much fun.
One magazine is $200.
That Yeah, let's do it.
But that's just it. One magazine is $200 for a battery powered magazine that just all it does is like when you pull the trigger,
Mhm.
it hits the button on the back, like the hammer or the hammer hits the button on the back of
Like,
the, the round, and
yeah, yeah.
it just fires a laser. It's really cool.
I can't find the picture. I'm trying to find. My buddy has a full motion race rig that he set up. It's like 10 grand or something.
I'm just
Oh,
getting laser engraved magazines looking for this thing.
no, I know. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Those things
I
are
know. I'm trying to
sick.
think of the name of the company that makes it though. Um,
La- that's the place. So yeah, this thing is
okay. Couple of pictures. Oh, that's sick. All right. Okay. I actually dig that. I was just about to say.
that's how expensive those setups can be.
I found it out. It's made by Mantis. It's the Mantis Blackbeard, the auto resetting trigger system for
Oh
the
yeah,
AR-15.
dude, I totally that makes so much sense. Like, why didn't I think about that?
Yeah. So yeah, I was just like, it's red. So I knew it was red. So I started looking up companies that
This
are
is
usually red.
interesting. Realistic dry fire training save
Mm-hmm.
thousands of rounds on ammunition.
Right. But
Yep,
they were marketing it towards at the gun show. They were marketing it towards like laser tag.
that's so
But at the
that's
same time,
so cool.
that's scary because you're plugging it into a real gun.
Yep, why not?
Right, but
Sounds good.
bringing I mean, you got to be careful with bringing a real gun to a laser tag place. You know what I'm saying? I mean, granted, yes, you could rent you would be renting the thing, but still, like you just know someone's clutching their pearls. You know, it's a real gun. Oh my
Yep,
gosh. So, but yeah.
I bet. Yeah, that'd be nuts.
But why haven't we had like a Gundam game where you're actually climbing into a mech? Like, you know what I'm saying? Why can't that be?
Because that would be really expensive.
Well, you know, Tokyo I mean Tokyo, Japan made that Gundam. You just
Uh,
put
yeah.
you just put the fucking game in there and you just have people go inside of it.
I mean, Disney might actually buy that up. I
I
mean, they
mean,
did it with the Millennium Falcon ride.
I heard about that. Yeah.
That's a crazy cool experience. That is really awesome.
So, did you see my tweet the other day that I tweeted at Battle State? We're gonna go back to Tarkov for a second.
Yeah, I believe I did.
So I had an interesting idea for a map mechanic right?
Oh
To
yeah,
make
yeah.
to make a map like more dynamic, because not only would this encourage PvP, but it also creates well, it would create two spots for PvP, right? Because everyone there's the people that literally just play the game for PvP. They don't give a shit about the loot. Because if you're killing players, you're getting loot. I mean, that's just how it is. So, um, I was thinking of what would be an interesting mechanic to encourage PvP, because a lot of there are the people that rat around, they don't want a PvP, and I don't know why they're playing Tarkov, but there's those people, right? If you had a mortar on the map, right, and there's already a shell like laying next to it that you can use it to maybe shell like a player or something like that, or you have a chance to fire it onto a armored car or something like that. Armored car or a wall on a building. Maybe it's in Streets of Tarkov or whatever, and the mortar goes off and it hits the side of a building. The building, has a giant hole in it where you can get in and get some of like the best loot, right? So then that creates two interesting dynamics to the map. Who's going to get to the mortar, right? To fire to open up the thing. That's going to create one spot where you can kill players. And then the other one is after you blow open the wall, there could be people waiting for the wall, right? To be blown up. And then they're just going to run in and grab the loot. Or there's going to be people that are going to set up to watch who goes for the loot. And then they're going to create a PvP point there as well.
Yeah,
Right.
there kind of already is something similar to that already in. Like, the first one that comes to mind is on customs. So there's another one on reserve, so where you have
Where is there one on customs?
the automatic grenade launcher in Fortress that you can shoot
Right.
at dorms, and if Rashala and the guards are there, it'll kill them all. So then you can go and get all the
Right.
loot stupid easily.
Right, but this
Or
is this
vice
is like a
versa.
map mechanic though.
Yeah, no, I see what you're
Dynamic,
saying, and I
right?
like the idea. I think it definitely needs some work to.
But you got to think, in Streets of Tarkov, it would actually make sense because the um what's it called? The boss for that map is going to be rolling around in an armored vehicle. So if you use the mortar, you can either use it to kill the boss, right? Or you can blow open the wall. You have one shot, right? And you got to choose. You can either use it on the person, like the boss riding around in the armored vehicle, or you can use it on the loot room.
Yeah.
The silence.
No, I'm just trying to think. Like, it in theory, it seems like a good idea, but I mean, there's a lot of this type of mechanic that has been done in MMOs, different RPGs throughout
Right.
the years, and it never turns out the way that you think it will. Like,
Right, I
because
know,
there's
but
that there's the human element to it, to where people are gonna go like, is it worth, like, they're gonna like min max, and they're gonna be like, okay, if I go and do that, then they're gonna know that I'm at the mortar, and then they're probably gonna know that I'm heading to the wall that I just blew up. So the
right.
chance of you doing that and then getting the gear for yourself are incredibly slim. So the better play for you would be either A, not do that and wait for someone else to do it, and then either loot the room that they opened, or kill the players that are going for it and take their loot. Or just go about your business, survive, and come back again. Like,
Yeah.
um
But
because
I
the
mean, but
idea is loot. So
right?
you're asking someone to take an extra risk, which you're going to get
Yeah.
people to do it,
More risk,
but
more reward.
I don't think I don't think it's going to create the dynamic that you have in your head.
Look at what's it called? Mark rooms. That already is kind of a concept, right?
Yeah, but those also don't create that dynamic, because people have found out that they're
I think mark rooms
the
suck right now.
yeah,
They're fucking garbage.
the risk that it takes to get to one is not worth doing it.
Well, not just that, but the loot inside of it is fucking trash lately.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like it's you're taking a risk running there because they're always every one of them is in a confined like kill box area. So
Right.
you're taking the risk on losing your shit to get there, and you're not gonna go naked. You're not gonna like pistol run that because the chance of you running into someone's pretty high. So you're gonna need to battle someone. Um,
Right, which is
and
the mortar.
and the garbage, I mean, sorry, the loot there is garbage.
Garbage. The
But
garbage. I mean, the loot. I mean, shit.
yeah,
But no, I mean, technically, but that's just it. Like, that would be the same risk reward system as like the marked room, right? I mean, yes, grant we're talking in a realistic where the loot inside the marked room is actually worth it, right? People are going there. They're gonna, obviously you're not gonna go like pistol
if
run
they
it.
made it worth it, yes, it would be fun. But they would have to make it worth it, which if they did that, then the person surviving with the worth, with whatever it is that they got, may be OP. Like I guess it depends on what items you put in there. Would I
Right.
want to see like a
What?
grenade launcher in there? Probably not.
Well, no. I mean, what I'm saying is like, why do people go to Kiba?
To try to get like high end attachments and stuff.
There you go. Maybe it's a Kiba. Maybe it's another Kiba store, right? And you blow open the wall, or
I mean
you
that's
you
pretty
can just
much
make
what
it
it is.
maybe you use the mortar to blow open a wall that gets you to a marked room, but you don't need a key for the marked room.
So yeah, you just had a so Kiba is an example of this mechanic already, just minus the explosion, minus the boom. Someone needs to go outside and turn on the power. So when you
Right.
see the power on, you're like, oh, I know someone's at power.
I know the game. I know the game has these mechanics, but I'm trying to think of another interesting way to do it, right? Where it's not just the same thing. Go fucking turn on the power. Go fucking use a key. Same bullshit,
Well,
right?
they also did it with the flares and the airdrops. So
Well,
you can shoot a flare, which everyone
right,
sees where you shot it from. It's a
right,
one-time use thing, and then you know that that's also where there's gonna be shit dropping. So
right. But at the same time, but it's like I'm saying, you can do other things that achieve the same
yeah,
outcome.
you're saying take that idea of risk versus reward and
Right.
make
Make
it
it make
in
sense.
yeah,
Because if like for example, if it's on Streets of Tarkov, Streets of Tarkov was a war zone,
yep,
right? It was a huge war zone. There would be mortars there.
possibly.
So if you have mortars, like just maybe it's a leftover mortar, right? It's just one, and there's one fucking round left, right? You can use it to kill the boss, which there's probably going to be quests to kill the boss. How do you kill someone in an armored vehicle? An explosion, right? So if you use that as a point to kill the scav boss, there's loot right there. There's a lot of good loot because you're killing a scav boss.
Yeah.
Okay. Or you can choose to blow open a wall that gets you to the magical land of, or you maybe it'll be, you have three choices. You have the scav boss, you have the loot room, or blows open the way to get to a way to escape Tarkov.
But why would I want to escape Tarkov? There's no loot over there.
Well, I mean, if you don't want to escape Tarkov, don't play Streets of Tarkov because there actually is going to be a way to escape Tarkov through Streets of Tarkov.
They've also said that they're when the game goes open world that like the end of the game will be escaping Tarkov. Did
Right.
Oh, I think it was on the podcast, Jesse and Veritas's podcast. They were talking about like prestiging, and I think we talked about this a couple episodes ago, to where I mentioned they had the idea of like growing a beard like longer and longer each time you prestige.
Yeah.
So one of the things was they also said like
I like
instead
it.
of doing that, make it make it lore focused to where like the prestige would be you're escaping Tarkov. You like walk out the gate, you're like, yay, and then you hand off your gear and your loot or whatever to the newcomer PMC.
Oh no.
Yeah, the next guy that's coming, and you're like,
I don't like that idea.
You're like, good luck, buddy. Have fun.
I don't like that idea.
I thought it was funny. I thought
it's funny, like... but that's just like that old trope of, all right, you're going in there. Yeah. Give them hell, and then you just fucking cripple your way, walk out. You know what I'm saying?
You like hobble out because you got a broken leg and you didn't bring a splint.
Didn't bring a splint. Oh god.
I did that anyway, earlier.
I found out that red or not red. What the fuck? Golden Star do not help with pain. So if you get shot in the leg and you're on a Golden Star and you have stam, you can't run.
What?
Yep. Found that out the hard way.
What do you mean you can't run?
I was playing interchange. I was trying to go for my 25 scavs on interchange. I forgot what quest that is. I think it's make ultra great again. But yeah, so I was lubed up and on my Golden Star, and I got shot in the leg, blacked out my leg, right? Which you should still be able to run because you have the Golden Star, yeah?
Yeah, nope. It says that it removes pain. Are you sure that you weren't out of energy?
I had full energy. Oh, I had half energy because I got shot in the leg, right? I was going on towards power on Ollie side, but going underneath under the mall. Right.
I'm about to take in a Golden Star, go into an offline raid, jump off like something on customs, break my leg, and try to sprint.
Yeah. But yeah, I got shot in the leg. I got shot once in the leg by I don't know. I think it was like a blackout round, 300 blackout. So it was obviously a player, and it blacked out my leg immediately, and I couldn't run.
That's what blackout does. It blacks it out.
Yeah, I know. But
welcome to Sparta.
I mean, but yeah, I got shot in the leg, blacked out my leg. I was on a Golden Star. I couldn't run. I had half energy.
That's weird because the tooltip says that it definitely removes
I know it does.
pain.
I read it. I was like, wait, did this get fucked up? Is this a bug? What is this?
100% got fucked up, probably.
I mean, probably. It's 100% likely.
Yeah. Okay.
They probably did something because they were probably changing some of the values for the meds, and they probably fucked up the Golden Star.
Let's see, where am I? Can I jump off something immediately and break my leg? Probably not because I'm underweight. But okay, broken leg. Cool. I broke my leg. Okay.
We can't even watch
Golden Star.
Yeah, listen, I apologize to the audio listeners out there. He's currently playing Tarkov right now.
I am doing science.
He's doing science.
Yeah, no, it totally lets me sprint still. So maybe it has something to do with a blacked out limb. I don't know.
Oh, wait, your leg's not. And that's what I'm saying. My leg got blacked out. Black out your limb.
I don't know how to black out my limb.
I don't know.
Oh, okay, I got it. I'm just gonna jump off the same thing I jumped off again. More damage.
Can you do that though? Can you actually black out your own limb?
Yeah, probably. You just do enough damage to it. But yeah, we're doing science today on the Science Podcast.
Okay. Tarkov.
Yep.
Science.
Okay, they're blacked out. I have 2 blacked out broken limbs.
Okay. Are you able to run?
Yep. Still able to sprint.
Doesn't make any fucking sense.
Dude, you just had a broken game.
Apparently, because I got shot in the leg. one shot.
It's just broken.
Couldn't run. I couldn't run.
You got your PMC has like Lyme disease or some shit.
Wow. Okay. Listen, I'm sorry to any of the listener that has Lyme disease. I am apologizing on behalf of my co-host.
I said that because it affects your joints.
listen again.
He has arthritis.
Yeah. Okay, to my old viewers out there that have arthritis, just direct all your anger towards TheAlmightyShid on Twitter.
Yeah.
There you go. Just
So
at him on Twitter. At him on Twitter. Let him know. Let him know what's up, guys.
the science has confirmed you can run on Golden
no.
Star.
My game is fucking busted. Then I don't know.
But I did want to circle back to one of the things you mentioned earlier about
What is that?
how the game mod coming out for Battlefield. Did you
Yes.
see that? So I just wanted to circle back to the mod part, not Battlefield or anything. But did you see that Skyrim now has a crazy influx in players again?
What toaster did it come out on now? You know what I'm saying?
Someone put out a mod called Skyrim Together, which is a co-op mod that's been downloaded over 60,000 times in the past 3 days. Like, yeah, people are eating this thing up.
Well, I think that's because, I mean, it's been attempted before. It's not the first time that this mod has been.
No, they've been trying to do it for a while, but this looks like the good one.
I think what did it was the influx of people that really enjoyed the Elden Ring co-op mod, right? They probably were like, "Oh, this game would be awesome on or this mod would be sick for Skyrim," right? And then they're like, "Oh shit, there is a mod for Skyrim," and then that's probably what did it.
So yeah, the mod for Skyrim.
Streamer.
Well, the original mod for Skyrim, the multiplayer mod, came out years ago, and it was one other player. The big selling point for this one, for Skyrim Together, is that it's made specifically for 2 to 8 players. Yeah, Skyrim. we're gonna Skyrim together.
Okay, listen, you better keep your Skyrim closed, all right?
But it's designed for 2 to 8 players, but they've tested it with up to 30 plus. So now mod. it's just like it's just a Skyrim MMO now. Like
Skyrim, the orgy, coming to a PH near you, you know.
The orgy, like Skyrim Origins.
That's what these games are called now. They're not massive online multiplayer games. They're just orgy games.
Are you saying orgy?
Yes.
Like origins and orgy or
orgy?
Okay, I still don't know what you're saying, but
orgy. Am I saying it wrong? Have I been saying it wrong my entire life? Orgy.
It sounds orgy.
Orgy.
Like okay, it sounded like you were putting another letter in there. Like it sounded like. Are you doing that on purpose?
No, orgy. You have me screaming orgy at the internet right now. I mean, it's like how people put an R in Washington.
It sounds like you're putting an I in there.
Orgy.
Yeah.
Listen, orgy. Orgy.
There you go.
Orgy. That's what I'm saying. Orgy.
Moving on.
I mean, like I said, it's like the people that put an R in Washington.
Yep. Yeah, we know some of those.
We know a lot of those.
I
think if you're native from Washington, you have an R. Even though I am native from Washington and I don't have an R in it.
Oh. So in random video game news, like completely unrelated to anything that we've talked about. But I just want to talk about the absolute just ridiculousness of this. Yeah, that's someone playing Tarkov. I mean, less than 5 feet.
No, that's real life. You know, I'm being shot at.
And I'm just sitting here like, meh, whatever.
I'm being
But
shot at real life. Two
okay,
pushing me. Okay. Anyways, go on.
very
Ungaming news.
very sad news is that there was a very prominent Japanese man that got killed. Um, Shinzo Abe.
Yes.
Yeah, Prime Minister of Japan.
Yes.
But the absolute ridiculousness that came up around it is there was a British, I believe it was BBC, who ran a news piece on it, but used the correct assassinator's name, but had a picture of Hideo Kojima up on screen. So people thought that Hideo Kojima killed the prime minister.
This is one hell of an ARPG for his new game. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, all
Shit.
jokes aside, I would not put it past him to do something like crazy, like storyline, like alternate universe thing like that. But yeah, Kojima
ARPGs
Production they're taking legal action. They're suing
yeah,
the news company.
good.
Like it's I was like reading
Good.
this article and like watching this story unfold over the weekend, and I'm like,
I heard about the assassination. I didn't hear about the
yeah,
Hideo Kojima thing.
yeah. I'm like, this is so terrible on one end, but then also on the other side, it's like this dude's like a gem. Like he is like
Well respected.
well respected genius in the video game art sphere. What are you
Yeah.
doing? Like,
Right. Well, it's just like so. There's a similar thing, but in the streaming realm, right? Where there's a streamer.
sorry, real quick, it wasn't BBC. It was a Greek TV station.
Greek TV station. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, they're going bankrupt is what's going to happen is what you're saying. But no, so in the streaming sense of something similar, there's a streamer, very well known streamer that everyone trolls by the name of Wings of Redemption. Anytime something happens, they put his name into it, right? So it doesn't matter if it's just like for example, he's known as the Ghost of Kiev for the war in Ukraine.
Okay.
And anytime there's some type of like terrorist attack, any type of huge thing, it's his name and his picture. And a news organization, I forgot which one, picked up on it, right? And they were trying to like connect the dots of like, why is this person in every single situation like they were trying to think that like he's like the head of like a terrorist group. He's just a guy that plays video games that his community trolls him so much that they literally link him to everything.
That's like when you're sitting there at the dinner table having like a conversation with your buddies, and like your parents walk in and you're like on your phones or something. They're like, "Are you playing Nintendo games?" And it's like,
Are you playing those Nintendo games?
No?
No, I'm playing a phone game. Whatever, same thing.
Yeah, just it's funny when people just try to get into conversations or try to like insert themselves into places that they know nothing about, and then just like embarrass themselves.
What is that? That's the Dunning-Kruger Effect.
Is it?
Yeah. So the Dunning-Kruger Effect is when people talk about something that they have no idea what it is or what it is even about, but they try to talk about it in such confidence rather than knowledge that they believe
Got it.
believe that they know what they're talking about. And it's believed that the Dunning-Kruger Effect is linked to IQ, where lower people, like people with lower IQ, but have higher confidence, right? While people that know a lot about a subject, for example, like the Hubble telescope, like those scientists, right? They obviously know what the fuck they're talking about, right? But there's always going to be someone with low low IQ but
Yep.
high confidence that's going to be like, no, actually, the Hubble telescope is by far less superior than the, something like that.
Yeah.
They'll make some type of thing up where they don't know what the fuck they're talking about, but they have confidence in what they're talking about that it sounds realistic. That's the Dunning-Kruger effect.
I
But it's
it's,
linked to IQ.
I feel like so I just looked this up and was reading a little bit about it while you were talking about it, and there's a little
Okay.
line chart that's confidence vertical, competence horizontal. And
Yeah.
right after the know nothing is high confidence, and it's labeled the peak of Mount Stupid.
Yep.
And then right after it is the Valley of Despair. And then you got the slope to enlightenment, and then the plateau of sustainability. I feel like this podcast lives somewhere in between the Valley of Despair and the slope of enlightenment. Like,
Well, what's interesting is that during the test for the Dunning-Kruger effect, they found that people that know what they're talking about are not confident in themselves. They'll oftentimes will believe that anyone else around them is smarter, like anyone else of their peers is smarter than them in their
mhm.
field. So that's
Yep,
that's the other part of the test that they found out
it's interesting.
that
Well,
if you they judge themselves a lot more critically, while someone with lower IQ is so confident that they know they're right.
here's the clucking question for our
Oh,
listeners.
I had a clucking
Oh,
question
okay.
too.
Then we might have two, but
Okay.
let us please tell us where we lie on the Dunning-Kruger effect scale. Like, I want to know, like, are we
Oh
trending
god.
towards the slope of enlightenment?
Oh
Where are we
god.
going?
This is not good. I'm automatically people are gonna be like, oh well, low IQ. That's
Well,
Koston.
we are peak of Mount Stupid right now.
Yeah,
For
that's where
just
I'm
for
gonna be
asking
standing.
that
They're gonna
question,
be like they're literally gonna put a flag on top of it.
I just
Is what's
literally asked, like, I asked the internet to roast us, is what I just did.
Why'd you do that? Why'd you do that? That's like going and doing a live stream to thousands of viewers, and your stream is of you doing an IQ test.
Sounds lovely.
Can you
That
imagine? Can you imagine?
let's
It doesn't
play an
matter. It
IQ
doesn't matter.
test.
You could have like 100, right? You can get like above 100 on the IQ test. People will still say that you're stupid
Yep.
because it's not that high. Be like under 200 IQ. You know? God dang.
What a five head.
You would never live it down. You would never live it. You'd have to give up streaming because
Yep.
people you would become Wings of Redemption.
Let's do it.
Nope. Listen, yeah,
Let's
do
run a
it
let's
for.
play of an IQ test.
I'm not doing that.
Alright.
Let's play.
Yeah.
Oh gosh.
Yeah. Alright.
All
But yeah.
right, okay. You ready for this?
I think we're at the end.
The clucking question. What is the worst feeling or your worst feeling in a video game?
Losing my shit in Tarkov.
Losing, but that's just it. You know that
No,
it's not
no,
your shit. It's the
it's
community shit.
it's not dying. It's dying to stupid shit that I know I could have played smarter. Like, it's the worst feeling is failure that I brought on to myself.
See, I feel the worst feeling in a video game is that point where in like story driven games, right? Where you loved a game so much that you now realize that you cannot, like, you're at the end.
Mm, That's a good one.
Because that happened to me. That happened to me with
Mm.
what's it called? God of War 2000, the new one, the 2018
You
one.
mentioned that a couple weeks back.
I did. It was like realizing that I beat the game. I went and I did all of the Valkyries. I got everything, and I 100% of it. And I just got to that point where I didn't want to do one final task because the game would be over and I would have no reason to play it anymore. And I love that game so much. So now in that game, I shouldn't say that I have 100% because there's one task that I have not done. Yep. I haven't beat it. I haven't beaten what is it? The final Valkyrie. Sigrund. I haven't beaten the final Valkyrie on Sigrund on God of War mode. That's it. That's the only one I haven't done. That way I know that I have a reason to go back to do it.
There you go.
Yeah. Because I was afraid that like if I just did it, I would never have a reason to play the game anymore. And I love that game so much.
Well, you can celebrate the end of our 10th episode by playing God of War.
I mean, it is our 10th episode of the God of War podcast, but should we call it a wrap? But guys, let us know what your worst feeling is in video games, and let's not talk about IQ tests ever on this podcast because it doesn't need to be there. Anyways, that's gonna be it for tonight's episode. Be sure to like and subscribe to our YouTube. Follow us on Twitch for live content. And for our audio video listeners out there, leave a like and review on our podcast on all major platforms where you can find our podcast, Google Podcast, Apple Podcast, wherever you consume our media. It would help us out a ton. All right. Anything else?
Bye.
Anything you want to plug? Make sure you guys follow us on our socials. All right, at Valhalliant on Twitter, and do that. And then TheAlmightyShid, follow us. And I'm probably going to be back into streaming soon. Probably looking at this week sometime. I got some things I got to work on, and then find a game to play because I don't know if I just want to play Tarkov.
Nobody does.
Nobody does, but they always find themselves in their hideout. All right.
With that being said, this will be live next week, as well as us recording again. Same place, same time, same Batcave. See you then.
All right. ChknAtk episode big 10.
The big 10.
Big 10.
Big 10. Bye, guys.
Big 10. 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 B